Friends, we are back again with Jason Blaha doing a bicep shot for us, man. Yes. The gym lifting, recruiting lifting slave himself. Strength and fitness dude. Blaha Fitness. Yes, man. We're going to review this video, a reaction video to Blaha's video. Blaha says basic training, nutrition, and consistency are the biohack. Are they? Basic training and nutrition. Well, yeah. That's, I don't know about biohack, man. I'm not into this so-called biohacking, but whatever. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down and do a video.
It is you.
Guys and gals.
It is Jason Blaha. Yes, sir.
Let me give you guys a bicep shot before we start.
Oh my God. 13 inches. I can guarantee you those arms are 13 inches. If Alex Eubank's arms are 12.5 and 13.5 inches, one arm is 12.5, the other one is 13.5 inches, then Blaha's cannot be more than 13 inches, okay? There's no peak on that bicep. I mean, it's just a flat arm. It's just flat. It's completely flat. Look at, if he was wearing a tank top and he would flex, it would look even worse. That's why he's covering it there between the shoulder blade and the bicep, because he's hiding it. There's absolutely zero peak on the arm. It's completely flat.
Mount Bicephus. And yes, I am fully aware.
You want to know why he's doing that? Because I kept saying, why doesn't he flex his arm ever? Why doesn't he flex? And finally, he did a flex for you guys. That's to show you it's 13 inches. See, I proved my point. And he's also upset because I just posted his picture in my community section about, I don't know, what was that, over half an hour ago? So he's making a new video.
I do not have good bicep insertions. We all know this before anyone needs to chime in, okay?
See?
Get that out of the way.
See, I don't have good bicep insertions. Get this out of the way. Yes, yes, whatever.
Okay, now that we made that point clear, and people realized it was done in humor, let's talk about basics and biohacking. Everyone wants to sell.
He's making excuses. I don't have good muscle insertions. That's why my arms are 13 inches. Okay. I thought you were trying to get them to become bigger, remember?
You biohacking these days.
I didn't think the goal was to get them to become smaller.
They want to sell you gimmicks. They want to sell you gimmicks. This special diet.
Oh, yeah.
This special exercise. This special supplement. This cold therapy. I have a hack to boost your testosterone.
I would agree with him. Yes, they're trying to sell you these artificial meat, these artificial things. Yes.
Testosterone, right? All these things. None of them really work, do they?
It's time to wake people up.
Because everyone who is...
No, they don't work. They actually do the opposite. They destroy you.
Successful in the fitness game, who develops an impressive body. Doesn't always even have to be physique. Anyone who's strong, fit, jacked. Have a few.
I'll give you my spin-off on this, okay? The problem with a lot of people trying to build these bodies is because it's an instinctual thing. You can feel it. You feel inadequate. You feel there's something not right there. And you are right, actually. It's because you're domesticated. And instinctually, you can feel it. You can feel it physically and mentally that you have been domesticated, but you don't realize it. Here's the thing. It's not something that you're dwelling on, but it's there. It's always there. That's why you feel inadequate, so you want to go to the gym and lift weights. Plus, what is causing this domestication of you? Well, your diet. Mostly your diet is the cause of it, and the environment that you're in. The environment and what you're eating. All right, because you guys are eating an artificial diet that is increasing estrogen in men, especially, and lowering your testosterone. And lower testosterone means what? Lower muscularity. Your muscular size and muscle is a lot smaller and your strength is a lot lower. Now, what would mostly take you out of that? Your diet. If you would change your diet and eat a more natural diet, then you become more muscular, you become more built, and your testosterone goes back to 1200, and so does your endocrine system. Everything seems to go back to normal. But you're eating an artificial diet and you're going to the gym thinking the gym has a health benefit and will increase my testosterone, because that's why everybody's gym lifting slaves. You have slaved yourself to a gym because all of you instinctually feel that you have been you've been changed somehow. You've been domesticated. And so you want to come out of this domestication. You want to return back to your natural roots, but it's not working for a majority of people. It doesn't work for a good majority of people. So they start taking protein powders, this, that. They're all confused. They don't understand what the cause is of this. And so they're all trying to build their bodies to go back to homeostasis. But you're out of homeostasis the whole time because of your diet and a bunch of other things, your environment and other factors. So you've enslaved yourself to the gym because you're like, well, I'm going to raise my testosterone. I'm going to get stronger. It's going to make me muscular and all this kind of stuff. And you're fighting an uphill battle, still eating an artificial diet, going to the gym. You understand me? It's crazy. If you would just eat your natural diet, you notice how much easier that is. Yeah.
Things in common, don't they? Right? With exceptions, when people say, well, I can think of an exception. Right. Because it is so rare, they have to point out that they're an exception. Okay? And I want to be clear on that. You know they're an exception because they're the person who says, I don't do this that everyone else who's successful does. So maybe they're a weird genetic freak, or they could still be doing better, or they just use enough stuff to get away with it, or whatever happens.
Yeah, people use... Yeah. See, he says either they're a genetic freak or this or that. They're not a genetic freak. A lot of the people are eating a good majority of their natural diet, so they've gone back to normal, Blaha. Do you understand me? They're eating their natural diet, and they're undomesticating themselves. The whole point is to undomesticate yourself if you want to return back to homeostasis. Now, steroids aren't going to do that. They're going to give you something artificial, but they're not going to return you back to homeostasis, to your natural... They're not going to do that. They're not going to undomesticate you. Maybe it'll give you this temporary look or something of undomestication, but even then it's very artificial. It looks weird. You look mutated, but whatever. Okay, Blaha, whatever.
Reality. The basics. Basics of training, diet, and consistency. That's your biohack. That is your biohack.
No, it's not. That is not your biohack. Your biohack is if you can return yourself to normal, to homeostasis, so you're not domesticated. If you can undomesticate yourself, then you've biohacked. You've biohacked. I don't even like the word biohack, but okay. You biohacked if you could return yourself to normal. You understand me?
Works. Problem is, it's hard to sell that, isn't it? And what do I mean? What are a few key points?
It is hard to sell. What if I started, you know, it's hard to sell. Let's just put it that way. It would be hard to sell that. People are not going to buy that. I don't know. It's hard for them to get away from these addictions anyways. That's another issue, but whatever.
Points. Before we'll get into training in a second. Diet. Almost everyone who develops an impressive level of musculature, barring the little tiny set of exceptions, what do you see? They tend to eat a lot of protein. Okay? You always see generally high protein diets, irrespective of what type it is, whether they...
See, without consciously thinking about undomesticating yourself, the first thing he says is, what do we see people do? What do we see their bodies, how do they transform? eating protein. What kind of protein? Animal protein. A natural diet. That is natural food. Animal protein is natural. I'm not talking about processed meat, okay? I'm talking about natural meat that you see in the butcher section.
Eat a ton of meat. They're a vegan, vegetarian.
See, a ton of meat. But now he's wrong when he says vegetarian and vegan. That domesticates you.
A keto, a paleo. They just eat a normal bro diet. Almost every time there's a focus on protein. Why?
Why? Why is there a focus on protein? Because instinctually you know that will undomesticate you. That's why. But he doesn't use his instincts as an animal to figure that out. See, he can't figure out these things because he doesn't rely on his instincts. He relies on everything else that's being regurgitated in the fitness industry. That's his problem.
We've got research showing why we know that protein overfeeding causes recomposition in humans.
Listen to what he says. We have research. We know that protein causes recomposition in humans. Yes, we know that eating your natural diet will return you to homeostasis. You'll be undomesticated. You understand me? We already know that. Yeah.
That's not a controversial statement to make at this point. In fact, the studies show that when you try to force feed protein, even when you try to bulk and gain weight, you tend to lose body fat.
Yeah, you want to know why you're losing body fat? Because you were eating an artificial diet that domesticated you. Why do you think the obesity, what do you think that means? All these people that are obese, eating all these crappy foods, weird foods, artificial foods out there, that's what domesticates you. You're a fat bum walking around, low testosterone, you're fat. Everybody's, even these ectomorphs, they're still somewhat carrying fat and they have low testosterone too. They're all suffering. The ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs, all these people are all suffering, man. They're domesticated, dude. But if you go back on your natural diet, guess what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to lose fat. You're going to lose fat because what makes you fat? An artificial diet. You get it? You'll go back to homeostasis. But the addiction is much higher than what you think it is, yes.
Now you see where we're going with this? Everyone eats a diet that helps them gain muscle and controls body fat in some manner with basics. And how are they doing that? They're either counting calories,
yeah,
or they're doing something that restricts their ability to overeat without fail. Because we know that hard bulking doesn't build more muscle. That's what the research is showing more and more. So if you bulk hard, then you got...
Hard bulking doesn't grow more muscle? Bulking, again, bulking is based on eating an artificial diet. Getting fat doesn't build muscle. Let me explain this. Trying to domesticate yourself even more by lifting and eating an artificial diet is the opposite of what everybody's trying to accomplish in the gym. Look, why do you think people are trying to... Why do you think JasonBlaha is talking about people and physiques now? People are more interested in physiques. They're not interested in physiques. They're interested in undomesticating themselves. You understand me? They're domesticated because they're eating an artificial diet and they can't stop eating the carbohydrate drug-induced diet, dude.
Cut. I mean, people still do that, but the end result, they ended up cutting, so they still ended up restricting. Okay? But people who eat enough to gain...
They restrict because they're trying every avenue. They're not sure. That's why they're doing all these weird things like, I gotta do intermittent fasting. Maybe that will undomesticate myself. If I do starvation diets, or if I do a keto diet, or if I do a paleo diet, or maybe I'll do the vegan diet or the vegetarian diet, every kind of stupid diet to undomesticate myself, when in the end, the only thing you need to do is what? Eat your natural diet, and that will undomesticate you automatically. Look, I've changed so much now since I've gone back on my natural diet. Man, my face looks way better. My face, my neck, my body, everything is just everything. I did my blood work, testosterone through the roof, endocrine system is perfect, blood work is perfect. Shit, man. I mean, just everything is amazing. Everything is functioning properly, looking better than ever. My doctor said to me, what are you doing? You're looking better than ever. My suntan is so much better. It just went twice in the sun and just look amazing, bro. Like, it's crazy. And I don't even use any kind of sunscreen, nothing. I'm not suffering from any metabolic diseases other than I had some nerve damage in the past. I'm still trying to figure out if I can get over that problem. Somewhat, maybe, I don't know. Some things seem to be getting better. Maybe with time, who knows?
Muscle while controlling body fat. And it's not a biohack. They're either doing it through cleaner eating or
they're doing it through eating their natural diet, Blaha.
Through controlling calories or intermittent fasting. I mean, in any combination.
Again, calories and intermittent fasting. These are just, they're nothing. They're just to play with people. Do you understand me? Thinking they're going to that's going to undomesticate them. That's not going to.
Of those will work. Any of those combination will tend to work. Okay? So you're either going to see usually really high protein, which is either some intermittent fasting, really high protein with bro eating, chicken, broccoli, brown rice, or some diet that restricts appetite, or they just simply count calories. It's very basic.
It's very basic, Blaha, but why don't you follow your own advice? Listen, Blaha, I have advice for you. Why don't you try going back on your natural diet? I'm going to help you, all right? I feel for you. Go on your natural diet like I do. Look at my videos. Look at my pictures in my community section, the food that I'm posting there. I'm just eating shrimp and beef in those videos. But you don't have to limit yourself to that. You can eat a lot of very, very rare beef, okay? I mean almost raw, very rare beef. Beef doesn't have to be even cooked, okay, dude? But it has to be clean. You don't want any bacteria in it. So you can eat all kinds of seafood. There are all kinds of shellfish to eat out there. There's all kinds of seafood you can eat. You can mix in with beef. Don't eat any carnivore animals. All right? And stick to beef. And make some bone broth soups and things like that. Eat a lot of beef. Eat a lot of steak. If you could afford it, I don't know what you can afford. And a lot of seafood. And drink water. And mineral water. Even spring bubbly mineral water, whatever. That helps a lot. Just do that. Do that for the first year and the second year. Do that for 2 years straight, and I guarantee you're going to look like a different person. Your hair may actually grow back. I'm not joking. Your facial features will return. Your body will recomp itself automatically, naturally. You don't have to lift weights to recomp a body. Weights don't recomp bodies. Food is what will recomp your body. Weights don't do anything. They break down proteins is what they do. That's all weights do. They do absolutely F all in your body. They cause an inflammatory response. They cause what's it called? RAS in there, and hypoxia, oxidative stress, a bunch of other stuff. That's all they really do. They don't do anything. Weights are not going to undomesticate you. Exercise could help, like, if you're sprinting and doing specific things, they can help undomesticate you, definitely. I'm not saying exercise doesn't play a role, but because you're a hunter, if you're hunting, you're doing specific movements in nature. You're doing specific things, out in nature that you would do. You're not doing those. Maybe you can mimic them. I'm not sure. And then eat a natural diet, animals, grass-fed.
Those are all basic approaches. They're all successful. But what do they all have in common? All of them control the amount that you eat through some mechanism. And then you need to understand that that's the mechanism at play. And they usually have eaten a lot of protein. All right, the training. Basic training and consistency. Okay? All this other stuff added has not improved people's results. And I'm not saying machines can't work, special exercise can. Do not get me wrong. I am not saying they don't work. I'm saying they don't bring anything special to the table. In other words,
exercises are not gonna do anything. They help open a window for protein synthesis. They break down protein. There is a window there, but you have to eat so much to suppress the breakdown.
not gaining more muscle using any of these things than they did with barbells, dumbbells, just normal free weight, big movements. That's isolation work. You know, again, I want to be clear. I like lateral raises. I do preacher curl. I do all those things. I'm not telling people not to do isolation movements. What I'm saying is, by and large, the basics have always worked. Your muscles don't really care. So again, can people certainly get jacked on machines? Yeah, but there's no hypertrophy advantage in my opinion from it. There isn't. It's still tension. Your muscles care about the tension placed on that muscle. That's it. That is what...
No, they don't care about the tension at all whatsoever. And science will tell you that there's a window for protein breakdown, but they'll say that the window for protein synthesis is much higher than the protein breakdown. But even then, they're not completely sure about that. Now, they're not sure whether you should eat protein to suppress that breakdown when you come into the gym. They're not totally sure. Now, in some parts of science, if you read reports in NCBI, they say you should do that. And some say they're not sure. If they're not sure, you should do that, you shouldn't do that. People are not sure. See what I mean? Should you, they definitely know if you're going in fasted, there's a higher rate of protein breakdown if you're fasted. Well, if you're fasted and there's a higher protein breakdown, then it does make sense to eat protein before you work out. You understand me? Yeah. So that there's a flow of protein coming in, because if there's a flow of protein coming in, then again, there is still a window for protein breakdown, but there's also a window for protein synthesis at the same time. So there's something going on there at the same time. And then after that, you need to eat. And after your workout, there is a window of 2 hours. You need to go right away and you need to eat a lot of protein. And I mean a lot. If you want to see that mass on that myofibrillar visually, if you want to see it. But if you don't want to see it, then don't do it. It's really simple.
Causes the muscles to grow. Tension, the fatigue and tension and the mechanical overload placed on the individual fibers. That's
fatigue and tension cause the muscles to grow. They don't cause the muscles to grow. They cause the muscles to break down, and then there's a larger window for protein synthesis. That's it. But they don't cause them to grow. Maybe he's like I said, misconstrued. When these people say that, I hate when they say that. You could say that there's a window for protein synthesis that may be higher than protein breakdown. Okay, let's say there's a window for protein synthesis. What are you doing with that window now? Are you going to walk around after you worked out and not eat anything? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? So you need to go and take advantage of that window, but you're not.
the fibers don't care where you get it, but you're probably going to be a little more athletic. You're going to be a little more functional if you're doing the basic stuff. So I tend to push people in that direction. But
no, he doesn't. He never promotes. He never explains that there's a 2-hour window after the workout. He never explains that that window will shut off. That window of protein synthesis will shut off. He's not telling you the proper things, and you need to overload on protein after that workout to see that mass on that myofibrillar.
keep in mind, what do they all have in common? The resistance, specific resistance.
Let's just say that it would have to be higher than the breakdown.
The muscles you want to grow. More specifically, on the fibers you want to grow, they need to be recruited. They need to be actively recruited, period.
Do they need to be actively recruited so that you can have a window for protein synthesis? Well, not necessarily. Science says no. There's always a window for protein synthesis and breakdown. Now, what happens if you eat loads of protein? Well, there's a window for protein synthesis. It still will. There's more protein coming in than there is being broken down. So you can still build muscle literally by eating protein as long as protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. See what I mean? But if there is a window that is higher in protein synthesis than the breakdown part that you're working out, then you can take advantage of that. See what I mean? So you should be able to put on mass a lot faster, providing protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. See what I mean?
People that follow progressive overload, and they do so consistently for long periods of time. Okay? See where we're going? This is all your people pushing biohacks have all done this. All of these people who are jacked, they're strong, they're fit, they have nice abs, all this stuff. This is how they got there. Every single time. They ate some sort of high protein.
I don't know if that's how they got there. The regular people in the gym or the influencers that are faking it on steroids and drugs. Is that how they got there? Come on, Blaha.
Diet where they controlled what they eat. They learned some sort of good eating habits to control intake, whether it was a specific diet or just counting. They all ate a lot of protein.
They did they?
They all trained the muscles that they wanted to grow.
They did, huh?
With some basic progressive overload over time. They had progressive overload present for long periods of time. Usually years. Years.
It doesn't take years to build muscles. You can build them in months, providing protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. But if protein synthesis never exceeds that breakdown, then guess what you get? Protein turnover. So you just keep turning over the protein. You're basically doing nothing in the gym. You're not building any muscle.
When you really look at the people with the most impressive results out there, the majority of them who've really gotten impressive results, how long have they been doing it consistently? Even the ones who are pushing their biohack, you're like, but bro, I see stuff from you training 12, 13 years ago. You've been training consistently a little while.
Look, I've done a video on sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. In 5 weeks, I gained 20 pounds of doing what? Eating bowls of potatoes because glycogen synthesis exceeded that breakdown. Okay. How do you build muscle when protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown? So what do you need to do? Eat a lot of meat. A lot. Every single day. And you'll find out whether they build muscles or not. Hello. Take 5 weeks out. Go work out. Make sure that protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. Eat a shitload of fucking protein. And you'll find out whether the muscles will build or not. But if you just eat your shitty diet, your domesticated diet, and fool around, walk around, of course you're not going to build anything. Duh, hello?
That's their biohack.
Yeah. A biohack.
Okay, so here's what it all comes down to. Following those basic diet principles, following those basic training principles, and applying it for years and years and years consistently.
That's failure for years and years. You've slaved yourself years and years for no other reason than to do what? To slave yourself?
That's it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you.
If you experiment, and you'll find out yourself whether protein synthesis, when it exceeds that breakdown, whether that myofibrillar will gain mass on that muscle. Get it? You'll find out. But if you don't want to find out, you don't experiment, then how the hell would you ever know? I'll see you in the next video, friends, because it's going to take you years and years and years and decades. Yes. See you in the next one. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Helps with the algorithm. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, friends.